They told you the hijab is a sacred act of faith. They told you it's empowering, dignified, even liberating. But they didn't tell you about the girls in Iran getting killed for removing it. They didn't tell you about the 7-year-olds being guilt-tripped into wearing it. They didn't tell you that in early Islam, slave women were ordered to walk around topless. Yeah, let's talk about that. This is debunking the top 10 misconceptions about the hijab, and we're not holding back. And if you've got the guts, watch till the end. Myth 1. The hijab is a choice. In theory, sure, women choose to wear it. In reality, it's law in Iran, Afghanistan, parts of Saudi. It's forced by family pressure, community shame, and eternal damnation. Ask any ex-Muslim woman, choice only begins after they deconvert. Until then, it's hijab or hell. Myth 2. It's just about modesty. Then why are men not covering their necks and hair? Why are women told they're walking fitna if their bangs show? This isn't modesty, it's sexual paranoia and gendered shame, baked into law. A woman is not a walking temptation. Men are not beasts who can't control themselves. Stop making women responsible for male behavior. Myth 3. It's empowering. You know what's empowering? Having the freedom to wear it or not wear it. If taking it off gets you excommunicated, threatened or murdered, then putting it on is just a costume for survival. Real power doesn't come with punishment for removing a scarf. Myth 4. The Qur'an clearly commands it. Nope. The word hijab in the Qur'an, it means a barrier, not a headscarf. The infamous verse 24:31 is vague. Draw your khimar over your bosoms, that's it. No mention of hair, no niqab, no full body cover. Interpretations vary, and most of them came centuries later. This isn't revelation, it's revision. Myth 5. It prevents harassment. Harassment is a male problem. And guess what? Women in hijab, niqab, even burqa, they still get harassed. You can't cloth your way out of male violence. The idea that covering protects you is victim blaming 101. You're just telling women to shrink themselves for male comfort. Myth 6. It's a religious obligation. If it's obligatory, why did early Muslim women argue about it? Why did Caliph Umar threaten a slave woman for covering? Because he thought it was only for free women. Because it wasn't about piety. It was about social class. Even today, major scholars disagree. That's not divine clarity, that's legalistic chaos. Myth 7. It brings respect. Respect isn't about fabric, it's about character, values, contribution. When you say hijabis get more respect, what you really mean is they get less sexual harassment, less male gaze, less community shame. That's not real respect, that's strategic silence in the face of sexism. Myth 8. The West doesn't understand it. Actually, we do. Ask Iranian women risking death to take it off. Ask Afghan girls pulled out of school. Ask ex-Muslims who wore it for 20 years and finally broke free. Stop gaslighting survivors with "you just don't get it." They lived it. They get it more than you ever will. Myth 9. Banning. It is Islamophobic. Yes, banning it by forcing it in the name of Islam. True freedom is having the right to choose. Let's fight for women to wear or remove it without fear. That's not Islamophobia. That's feminism. Myth 10. It's just a scarf. Try taking it off. Tell your family. Walk into a mosque. Suddenly it's not just a scarf, it's a spiritual landmine. For millions of women, hijab is trauma stitched in fabric. Don't trivialize it just because you see it as fashion. Now here's what they really don't want you to know. If hijab was about dignity, if it was about modesty and morality, then why were slave women in early Islam allowed to walk around topless? Not my opinion. This is in the classical Islamic fiqh. Let me break it down. Islamic jurisprudence is very clear. A slave woman's aura, the part of her body that must be covered, is from her navel to her knees. That's it. No obligation to cover her hair, no need to cover her chest. She could be Muslim. She could pray, fast, read Qur'an and still be publicly topless, because her body was not considered as honorable as that of a free woman. The Qur'an itself makes this class divide crystal clear. Surah 24 verse 31 explicitly says, "Tell the believing women not to display their beauty except to their husbands, fathers, or those whom their right hands possess." That last line, "those whom their right hands possess," that's a euphemism for female slaves who don't get the same privacy or dignity as free women. They're the exception to the modesty rule. Deep dive, the slave woman double standard. This wasn't about piety, it was about property. Modesty was a class privilege, not a universal virtue. Hijab wasn't sent to protect women. It was sent to mark which women were off limits to other men and which ones were not. That's not divine mercy. That's divine apartheid. Here's the bottom line. Hijab is not just a piece of cloth. It's a symbol of control, of shame, of division. It was never about women's dignity, it was about power. And until we face that head on, we'll keep lying to the next generation, while millions of girls grow up thinking submission is sacred. If you're ready to challenge the lies, if you're ready to unlearn the indoctrination, subscribe, share, speak out, and don't let anyone tell you the truth is offensive. The truth doesn't need permission, it just needs courage.
When you are studying any matter or considering any philosophy, ask yourself only what are the facts and what is the truth that the facts bear out. Never let yourself be diverted either by what you wish to believe or by what you think would have beneficent social effects if it were believed. But look only and solely at what are the facts.